Every survival story begins with the same truth. Without water, the clock starts ticking. 3 days, that's all the human body can endure before dehydration shuts it down. But here's the trap. Clean drinking water is always the first thing to vanish when society cracks. Shelves are stripped, taps run dry, and even hidden streams can carry sickness you'll never see coming. Most people panic, reaching for soda, beer, or whatever liquid is nearby, choices that speed up dehydration instead of stopping it. Seniors over 55 are hit hardest, because weaker kidneys and common medications mean their bodies collapse faster without proper hydration. But there's another side of the story. Scattered across kitchens, bathrooms, and even the backyard are overlooked liquids, strange, simple, often ignored, that can keep you alive when water is gone. Stay with me, because in this video we're exposing 10 survival liquids you can drink when water runs out, and number 1 might shock you the most. Number 1. Herbal teas. When panic sets in and bottled water vanishes, people often grab whatever liquid they can find. But sodas dehydrate, coffee speeds up fluid loss, and alcohol is a silent trap. That's when one overlooked lifesaver rises quietly from the pantry: herbal teas. Unlike caffeinated drinks, herbal teas hydrate instead of stealing moisture from the body. Every sip works with your system, not against it, making them a safe fallback when clean water is scarce. For seniors, this difference matters even more, because the body's natural ability to balance fluids weakens with age. Hydration without hidden side effects is a rare gift in survival. And teas aren't just liquid, they carry medicinal edges. Chamomile soothes stress and helps sleep when chaos keeps the mind racing. Peppermint calms the stomach when canned food or untreated water takes its toll. Ginger fights nausea and boosts circulation, helping fragile bodies stay steady. Each herb carries a purpose, turning simple leaves into silent allies. Now consider storage. Herbal teas sit quietly for months, often years, without spoiling. Unlike milk, juices, or sodas that rot and grow bacteria, sealed tea bags remain dependable. This long shelf life means one small box can outlast blackouts, store closures, and weeks of uncertainty. And when fear spreads through the household, the warmth of a steaming mug becomes more than hydration, it becomes comfort. That comfort has power. In darkness, where every sound feels like a threat, calm is survival fuel. A warm drink lowers stress, conserves energy, and restores focus. And that focus leads to better decisions, whether rationing supplies or keeping watch through the night. Yet here's the overlooked truth. Most households toss herbal teas aside, calling them optional luxuries. But in collapse, their value multiplies. They're liquid, medicine, warmth, and morale packed into a single cup. And when the grid is silent and water must stretch, these quiet leaves may be the only safe hydration left. Because when survival shrinks down to what you can sip slowly in the dark, herbal teas prove that overlooked doesn't mean useless, it means life-saving. Number 2. Canned vegetable juice. If shelves run bare and clean water vanishes, people reach desperately for anything that pours. In that moment, canned vegetable juice becomes more than a forgotten pantry filler, it turns into liquid survival. At first glance, it looks too salty, too processed, too ordinary. But survival doesn't judge by taste, it judges by function. Every can contains hydration your body can still use when water is scarce. And with age, when kidneys work slower and dehydration strikes faster, even this salty liquid can stretch your body's clock a little longer. That salt, often seen as a weakness, carries its own hidden strength. In hot conditions where sweat drains the body, sodium keeps fluids balanced, preventing dizziness and collapse. It's a trade-off: too much can strain, but just enough keeps the body steady when collapse demands movement, and that balance leads directly to something even more valuable: energy. Because vegetable juice isn't only liquid, it holds calories, vitamins, and trace minerals that bottled water will never provide. Carrots add beta-carotene, tomatoes deliver potassium, and celery offers electrolytes. These small boosts matter when your next meal is uncertain, and each sip carries both hydration and fuel. That combination creates a resource with more survival value than its label ever admits. Storage only increases its worth. Unlike fresh produce that rots in days, canned juice waits silently for months, sometimes years. And when neighbors panic over spoiled food and empty taps, your shelves carry liquid nutrition ready to pour. That quiet preparation transforms overlooked cans into currency. Because in barter, canned juice is more than a drink, it's trade leverage. Families without fluids will swap almost anything for a safe, ready-to-drink source. What once cost cents becomes priceless when thirst sharpens desperation. Still, this isn't a perfect savior. The high sodium means rationing carefully, mixing with clean water when possible, or sipping slowly through the day. But in collapse, imperfect hydration still beats none at all. And that's the lesson. Survival isn't about the purest option. It's about the option that exists when nothing else does. Canned vegetable juice proves that even the most ordinary pantry item can decide who endures the thirst and who doesn't. Number 3, coconut water. What if thirst takes over and clean water disappears? Desperation pushes people toward whatever liquid they can find. Sodas, alcohol, and energy drinks feel like solutions, but they drain hydration faster than they replace it. That's why one of nature's simplest drinks becomes a survival powerhouse: coconut water. On the surface, it looks like just a trendy refreshment, something people sip at the beach. But in survival, its true strength emerges. Coconut water is over 90% pure water, yet it carries natural electrolytes potassium, magnesium, and sodium that keep the body balanced when plain water alone isn't enough. And that balance matters most for seniors, whose systems struggle to regulate fluids under stress. Potassium is the key here. Where dehydration weakens muscles and causes cramping, coconut water restores function. A single cup can contain more potassium than a banana, giving exhausted bodies the ability to keep moving. And movement in collapse often means the difference between safety and danger. But hydration is more than chemistry. Coconut water is naturally sterile when sealed inside the shell, meaning it's safe to drink straight. In a world where untreated water can hide bacteria or parasites, that purity becomes priceless. Even canned or bottled coconut water, if properly stored, retains its safety long after tap water is undrinkable. That security directly leads into its second strength: shelf life. Sealed bottles or cartons last months without refrigeration, making them reliable for pantries and bug-out bags. When neighbors watch their supplies spoil, those hidden cartons become quiet insurance against collapse. And insurance has another name in survival: barter. Imagine trading one carton of coconut water to a dehydrated neighbor. The value skyrockets instantly, far beyond its grocery store price. In collapse, coconut water isn't just a drink, it's liquid currency. Of course, no survival liquid is flawless. Coconut water shouldn't replace all hydration, since too much potassium can strain fragile kidneys. But rationed wisely, it fills the gap between thirst and collapse. And that's the overlooked lesson. Coconut water isn't luxury. It's life support hiding in plain sight. When water runs out, those clear drops from a green shell may be the only thing standing between weakness and endurance. Number 4, melted ice and snow. When taps run dry and bottled water is long gone, survival pushes people to the most obvious source left in winter: snow and ice. It looks pure, it feels clean, and in desperation, handfuls go straight into the mouth. But that instinct hides a dangerous truth. Eating snow directly doesn't hydrate you, it drains you. Snow is frozen air and water, a fluffy illusion of volume with almost no density. Place a handful in your mouth, and your body wastes precious energy just to melt it. That energy loss lowers core temperature, increasing the risk of hypothermia, especially for seniors whose bodies no longer regulate heat as efficiently. And hypothermia doesn't arrive with warning. Shivers become confusion becomes collapse. That's why melting snow is survival's first rule. On a fire, over a stove, or even in a dark container left in the sun, the transformation turns frozen fluff into usable liquid. Once melted, it becomes water you can ration, sip slowly, and store. And that transition leads directly into the second rule: purification. Because even snow that looks clean can carry unseen dangers. Pollutants from the air, dirt, or hidden bacteria ride in every handful. For younger bodies, it may mean stomach cramps. For older adults, it can mean dehydration, kidney strain, or hospitalization. Boiling melted snow for at least a minute, or running it through a filter, changes it from risky to reliable. And reliability is what survival truly demands. Now imagine the psychological effect. While others panic, unsure where to find their next drink, the person with a pot of melted, steaming snow carries not just water but confidence. That confidence fuels endurance, and endurance becomes leadership when families look for strength. The value stretches further in collapse economies. In neighborhoods buried in snow, those with safe melting setups hold liquid gold. Melted snow can be traded for food, firewood, or medicine. What others step over as useless becomes your greatest bargaining chip. But the lesson is clear. Snow and ice save lives only when treated with respect. Left frozen, they steal heat. Left unpurified, they steal health. Properly melted and boiled, They give back what collapse takes away: hydration, warmth, and hope. Number 5. Rice water. Boiling a pot of rice usually means one thing: a simple meal. But the cloudy liquid left behind, the part most people throw away, becomes an overlooked survival drink with more value than it seems. That milky appearance is no accident. Starch from the rice seeps into the water, blending with small amounts of protein and trace minerals. The result is more than hydration, it's a liquid that restores energy. For seniors whose bodies tire quickly in stressful conditions, those extra carbohydrates can mean the difference between weakness and endurance. What makes rice water stand out is how gentle it is on the stomach. Dehydration often brings nausea, diarrhea, or cramps, especially when drinking untreated water. Rice water coats the stomach lining, calms irritation, and helps slow fluid loss. In survival, holding on to what little hydration you have is as important as replacing it. That calming effect opens the door to another strength: accessibility. Unlike sports drinks or special powders, rice is already in most pantries. Even in collapse, a bag of rice may outlast almost every other staple, meaning the drink it creates is both repeatable and sustainable. A single pot can hydrate, soothe, and feed at the same time. Storage adds another layer of usefulness. Rice water can be kept in clean containers for a day or two, giving families something safe to sip without constantly reheating meals. In blackout conditions, saving fuel is a survival strategy, and having ready-to-drink hydration reduces waste. The barter value shouldn't be ignored either. Neighbors without medical supplies or clean fluids may trade heavily for a cup that eases sick stomachs or gives exhausted children quick energy. In times where medicine is scarce, relief itself becomes a currency. Of course, rice water isn't perfect. It won't replace lost electrolytes the way coconut water does, and too much without balance can spike blood sugar. But survival has never been about perfection. It's about what keeps you standing another day. Rice water proves that even the simplest kitchen habit hides survival potential. In collapse, every sip counts, and the cloudy liquid once poured down the drain might just be the drink that carries you through. Most people don't realize it until it's too late. The liquids that look unimportant today become the very lifeline tomorrow. And here's the catch: the shelves will always empty faster than you expect, and neighbors won't share when thirst takes hold. That's why knowing these hidden survival drinks isn't optional, it's essential. Hit subscribe right now and turn on the bell, because the next survival item in this list might be the difference between weakness and endurance. Number 6. Clear broths and soups. A pot simmering slowly, steam rising from the surface. It's a picture of comfort most people take for granted. But in survival, clear broths and soups become far more than comfort food. They transform into hydration, nutrition, and medicine in liquid form. Unlike plain water, broth carries dissolved minerals, salts, and proteins that the body desperately needs after stress or sickness. Sodium helps replace what's lost through sweat, potassium supports muscle function, and even a small amount of fat delivers energy. For seniors, whose bodies tire faster, every sip is like drinking strength itself. That strength isn't just physical. Broths are gentle on the stomach, especially when dehydration has caused nausea or diarrhea. Plain water may pass through too quickly, but a warm soup lingers, rehydrating slowly while calming the digestive system. This soothing effect allows the body to actually hold on to fluids instead of losing them again. From there, the value extends to versatility. Almost anything can create broth: bones, canned vegetables, dried herbs, or even bouillon cubes tucked away in storage. That means one pot can stretch scraps into survival fuel, feeding both body and morale. And morale in the middle of collapse is as vital as calories. Fuel conservation also plays a role. A single pot of broth can be reheated and sipped over hours, reducing the need to burn firewood or gas multiple times. In blackout conditions, saving fuel is nearly as important as saving food. Even barter potential shouldn't be ignored. In a community struggling with sickness, a warm bowl of broth isn't just a meal, it's medicine. Neighbors would trade heavily for that kind of relief, proving its worth beyond personal use. Of course, broths alone can't sustain life forever. They lack the dense calories of grains or fats. But survival isn't about perfection, it's about making it through the next night. And on that measure, clear broths and soups deliver far more than their simple ingredients suggest. What once felt like a comfort food becomes survival's quiet powerhouse: hydration, healing, and hope, served in every steaming cup. Number 7. Aloe vera water. Most people think of aloe vera as something you rub on sunburns, a gel that soothes skin. But inside that thick green leaf is a hidden survival liquid that carries far more value than most realize. Aloe vera water, carefully prepared, can turn a common houseplant into both hydration and medicine. Cutting open the leaf reveals two parts: a bitter yellow sap that must be avoided, and the clear inner gel. Once cleaned and diluted properly, that gel becomes drinkable water with surprising benefits. It doesn't just quench thirst, it cools the body, eases inflammation, and calms digestive distress. For seniors struggling with sensitive stomachs or medication side effects, that soothing quality can make every sip feel like relief. That relief extends deeper than comfort. In collapse conditions, stomach issues from spoiled food or untreated water are almost guaranteed. Aloe vera water slows irritation, reduces cramps, and helps the body absorb fluids more effectively. Instead of losing hydration through illness, the body holds on to it longer. A survival edge plain water can't always deliver. Preparation adds another advantage. Aloe plants grow easily in pots, require little care, and can survive with minimal water. Families who keep them for decoration unknowingly store a renewable hydration source. Unlike bottled supplies that vanish from shelves, aloe keeps producing leaf after leaf, turning the ordinary home into a self-replenishing pharmacy. The psychological effect is just as powerful. In the middle of scarcity, the act of harvesting a fresh leaf and turning it into a safe liquid restores a sense of control. That sense of control calms panic and builds confidence, which in turn helps families make clearer survival decisions. Barter value pushes it even further. A neighbor battling food poisoning or severe dehydration will see aloe water not as a plant extract, but as medicine worth trading for. What feels like a humble garden pot today could become one of the most sought-after commodities in collapse. Of course, aloe vera water must be prepared carefully. The yellow sap is toxic if consumed. But with knowledge and patience, it shifts from a decorative plant to a survival tool. In times where clean water fades, aloe vera water proves that healing can grow quietly on the windowsill, waiting to be discovered. Number 8. Diluted fruit juices. Open a carton of fruit juice in normal life and it feels like a sweet indulgence, nothing more. But in survival, that same carton takes on an entirely different role, a hidden source of hydration and quick energy. Straight fruit juice, however, comes with a catch. Its natural sugars flood the body, spiking blood glucose, which can exhaust energy instead of restoring it. For seniors, especially those managing diabetes or heart conditions, that sudden rush can become dangerous. And this is where dilution changes everything. Mixing juice with clean water transforms it into a balanced survival drink. The sweetness remains just enough to restore energy, while the water stretches every ounce into something more sustainable. What was once a single glass becomes multiple servings, keeping hydration steady without overwhelming the body. That balance creates both efficiency and safety. The benefits go beyond hydration. Fruit juices carry vitamins and minerals absent in plain water. Orange juice offers vitamin C, strengthening immune defense. Apple juice brings potassium for muscle function. Even grape juice delivers antioxidants that support circulation. Diluted carefully, each sip combines water with nutrition, fueling both body and recovery. Availability adds another layer of value. Juice boxes, shelf-stable cartons, or even canned concentrates often last months without refrigeration. In blackouts, they outlast fresh produce and dairy, sitting quietly until needed most. For families watching food supplies vanish, these small containers become liquid insurance. The psychological lift cannot be overlooked. Children calm down with a familiar sweet taste, while seniors find comfort in a warm cup of diluted juice served like tea. In chaos, those small comforts create stability, and stability strengthens survival. And just like other overlooked liquids, barter value rises fast. A neighbor with nothing but dry rations may trade heavily for a diluted juice that hydrates and nourishes. What once felt like a simple snack drink becomes collapsed currency. Of course, juice can't replace water entirely. It works best as a supplement, rationed carefully, stretched as far as possible. But in survival, perfect solutions rarely exist. Practical ones do. Diluted fruit juices prove that even the sweetest indulgence, handled wisely, can become one of the smartest survival strategies. Number 9. Rainwater. Clouds gather, skies darken, and drops begin to fall. For most people, it's just weather. For a prepared survivor, it's liquid hope falling straight from the sky. Rainwater has always been nature's free gift, yet most households ignore its potential. A single storm can fill barrels, buckets, or even simple pots left outside. In collapse, that collection isn't just water, it's independence from empty shelves and broken pipes. But raw rainwater isn't always safe. As it passes through polluted air or bounces off dirty roofs, it can carry chemicals, dust, or unseen bacteria. Drinking it straight risks sickness that strips the very hydration you're trying to gain. This is where preparation changes the story. Boiling rainwater for even a minute destroys harmful microbes. Simple filters, from store-bought units to improvised cloth layers, remove grit and debris. With these steps, the water falling from the sky shifts from hazard to lifeline. That transformation highlights another hidden strength: volume. Unlike bottled supplies that run out, rain replenishes itself. Each storm resets the clock, giving families another chance to refill. And for seniors who may not carry heavy loads from distant sources, the convenience of water collected right outside the door is priceless. The psychological comfort matters just as much. In collapse, fear grows as supplies shrink. Watching barrels fill with fresh rain restores hope, proving that survival doesn't depend on stores or systems. It depends on readiness. And in barter terms, rainwater becomes a powerful currency. Neighbors without collection systems will line up, willing to trade food, fuel, or medicine for just a few clean liters. What falls free becomes wealth in collapse. Rainwater proves that survival isn't always about what you store, it's about what you capture. Each drop carries the message: those who prepare can always drink again. Number 10. Distilled water from condensation. Heat, sunlight, and patience, three things most people overlook, yet together they create one of survival's purest resources: distilled water. The process seems simple, but its value in collapse is anything but ordinary. Every source of water, rivers, puddles, even salty seas carries contaminants. Bacteria, chemicals, or minerals that poison more than they heal. Boiling removes some threats, filters remove others, but condensation goes further. As impure water heats, vapor rises, leaving toxins behind. That vapor, cooled and collected, drips into a container as clear, safe distilled water. What makes this method powerful is accessibility. A clear plastic sheet stretched over a pit, a cup in the center, and sunlight above the setup is crude but effective. Each drop collected proves that survival doesn't always require technology, just knowledge. And that knowledge turns scarcity into abundance. For seniors, purity matters most. Kidneys already under strain can't handle hidden salts or microbes. Distilled water removes that risk, offering hydration without punishment. The body absorbs it cleanly, safely, and with relief. That relief connects directly to endurance, because without safe water, no other survival effort lasts long. The psychological impact also carries weight. Watching droplets gather feels like taking control back from collapse. Each bead rolling down plastic is proof that resourcefulness beats panic, and in collapse, mindset decides survival as much as supplies. Distilled water won't pour fast, but it will pour steady. A few ounces at a time, it proves that patience itself becomes a weapon. Because in survival, those who endure slowly often outlast those who rush. Condensation shows the lesson clearly. The air itself can be turned into life. All it takes is the will to capture it. Every drop of water we covered tonight carried the same message. Survival isn't about luxury, it's about resourcefulness. The world can strip away electricity, supplies, and comfort in a single night, but it can't strip away knowledge. And knowledge is what turns desperation into endurance. Think about it. Most households won't prepare. They'll wait for shelves to empty, taps to dry, and neighbors to panic. By then, it's too late. But you've already seen the overlooked liquids that can stretch time, restore strength, and keep families standing when collapse hits hardest. That difference isn't small. It's the line between regret and resilience. So here's your choice. Close this video and risk forgetting, or lock in what you've learned and prepare with us. Hit like, smash subscribe, and turn on the bell because the next video could hand you the one strategy that saves your life.